If Jordan Love goes down, are the Packers doomed? Let's unpack that. Okay, guys, I'm sitting here thinking about the Packers backup quarterback situation, funny enough. Malik Willis, gone to Miami. He was, such a joy to have because every time he got in a situation where they needed him, he excelled, he thrived, he did different things, he brought different things to the offense. Obviously, his running ability was spectacular. His throwing ability was not limited. They obviously pulled back the offense a little bit in terms of the deep throwing at times, but I don't feel like they were super limited, having him in the game. He was, you saw in the Ravens game just this past season, I felt like he was able to make some great throws in the middle of the field, on the boundary, deep, intermediate. He's obviously able to do all the short things, right? He provided such a great insurance, and having Jordan go down the last couple of years at different points and important points of the season, it was great to have a guy like Malik, but now they're in a situation where they've got really three young guys. And let's go through them. Desmond Ridder's the guy that everybody kind of thinks if it's these three, he's going to pull out in front of the rest and maybe be the Packers' backup quarterback. The thing with Desmond Ridder is he had a pretty solid 2023 in terms of just the fact, the way that I'm looking at it amongst this crew, is that he played meaningful games and had some meaningful reps. He threw 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He actually played in a game against the Packers in week 2 of that season and won that Atlanta game. And he made some good throws, but the thing that I had noticed, especially going back and watching recently, is that there were a lot of turnover-worthy plays, a lot of opportunities the Packers had to pick the ball off and just dropped it. And, the same goes for, now let's talk a little bit about Kyle McCord, who was at Ohio State, went to Syracuse as well, and then was in Philly. And you look at some of his tape, and I watched a couple of his games in Philly, and it's like they're holding back the offense a little bit because he can't do some of these things under pressure where they develop a play downfield. Obviously, what Jordan Love does for us, he's able to throw it deep, he's able to handle pressure, he's able to do all the things, right? Kyle McCord and Desmond Ridder both have a little bit of movement in their game where they can kind of get out of the pocket and run if necessary, but they can't do the things that guys like Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers do for the Packers offense. And, it's just funny. There's really not many guys like Jordan in the league, especially as you watch these other backups who get drafted, and even the 3rd round like Ridder or the 6th round like McCord, and they just can't do some of the things in terms of processing things under pressure, getting the ball thrown downfield accurately in the face of that pressure, all the above, right? And those two guys that they have, neither of them are immune or opposed to improving. I think they're both eligible to improve, obviously. But, the more that I watch the two of them, and we'll get to the undrafted kid they just brought in, but, without significant improvement, I'm not confident in either of those guys coming in and giving the Packers what Malik gave them, which was a change of pace, the opportunity to win, and the lack of turnover-worthy plays that just completely disrupt the whole football game. Desmond Ridder had those, and Kyle McCord had those at an even higher rate. And, it's good that Ridder, like I said, in Atlanta, he was able to operate the offense a little bit and do some decent things, guys. Like, he was not a terrible quarterback. He was okay. And he was throwing to guys like Kyle Pitts and Drake London and even Mac Hollins. So I think he's got some decent experience, which is why I would say I give him the leg up over McCord and Drones, the undrafted kid. But again, guys, I'm not super sure that these guys are going to be able to do what Malik Willis did. So now we have to think, okay, they brought the undrafted kid, Kyron Drones. Now, what does he do maybe that's a little bit different than what McCord and Ridder do? He's freakishly athletic in the way that his 20-yard split is one of the fastest in league history, 2.52. That is incredible, right? Okay, that's good to know, right? That means he can get to the second level of a defense with his legs very quick. But, is that enough to compensate for the fact that he was an average thrower of the football in college? I mean, VTech, they threw the ball not a lot, but when they did, it felt like it was almost a change of pace from him running or the running game. And he's got an okay arm, but he wasn't drafted, right? Like, nobody's looking, you think with the running ability that he had, if he could throw at an NFL level, he probably would have been picked somewhere before an undrafted an undrafted spot. So it's just kind of, again, these things you start to think about. They've got 3 options right now, and none of them feel like if Jordan Love, God forbid, tore his ACL in training camp, do you feel confident with Desmond Ridder or Kyle McCord or Kyron Drones giving the Packers anything more than 3 to 4 to 5 wins? I don't. There's obviously some things that we're going to have to sort out. Do they sign a veteran? I feel like they're going to let these 3 guys compete. And again, Desmond Ridder's the favorite right now, I'd say, right? But does that inspire you to think that the team's going to do anything if he comes in? I don't know. And again, this is all in, break glass in case of emergency, right? Like, we hope that Jordan can stay healthy for a full 17 games and beyond, and we win a Super Bowl, right? That's the goal. But it hasn't been the case the last couple of years, so we do have to be, you don't want to... Me right now sitting here, I'm not worried about it, right? But we have to be aware and we have to be prepared for the worst, because we only have so many years with a Micah Parsons being young and a Jordan Love, whoever's getting hurt, right? Like, we have a core that is under contract, and guys get, they become free agents, and guys get older, and they aren't as good as they get older. There's just a lot of variables, and you only get one shot in the 1 year you're in, and you never know what's going to happen the next year. So I just, you want to give them a chance to compete, but it's hard. I mean, what happens, right? Let's say Jordan Love got hurt in week 5, and the trade deadline's coming up. I'm going to make a video about this very soon, but I don't know how willing the Packers are going to be to trade for any kind of quarterback and give up draft capital to do it, because it seems like they're really saving picks up to potentially do some big things in the 2027 draft. Okay, so that's like not really an option. Even at the, I was thinking maybe if they don't like the 3 guys that they have by the end of camp and it gets into the preseason is over and they're getting into week 1, maybe they go after somebody like they did with Malik Willis, where they gave up a 7th and they get this young guy. Maybe they do the same with a guy like Anthony Richardson, right? That's kind of the move that I was thinking they could make, where you at least have some upside. But they haven't made that move, right? Is it going to be too late at that point? Will they give up a 7th? It's possible, but I'm a little skeptical that they're going to give up any picks. Okay, the veteran options become less and less, and they become... there's less upside with some of those veteran options as you get later on into the year. It's not like guys that are worthy of starting jobs are floating around out there. So, I don't know, guys. I'm just kind of sorting through thoughts, and I hope you guys find some kind of just thought process with this that's worthy of hearing. But, my main the crux of the situation is we don't really have an answer like we felt we've had the past couple of years with Malik. I think the Packers hope that can be Desmond Ridder, and they were preemptive about it by getting him off of, I don't even know whose practice squad it was, but it might have been the Raiders. I think they just got him from Vegas, right? And whatever, plucked him. And to me, that was like a good move, but I had hoped it would be supplemental. I hoped that they would have gotten somebody like an Anthony Richardson, or, if Justin Fields was cheaper, or just somebody with a little bit more of a reclamation upside. And that kind of project that would give them a little bit more opportunity to build a Malik Willis. And now they're going to get a 3rd-round comp pick next year for that. That's the kind of thing that the Packers should be doing. They're a quarterback factory, and it makes sense, right? But they haven't done it to this point. And now as the process of adding to the 90-man roster kind of starts to even out a little bit, you got to start thinking about those things. So I'm sitting here wondering what they're going to do with these 3 quarterbacks. If Ridder comes in, the difference between Jordan Love and Desmond Ridder is the turnover-worthy plays being at such a high rate. And the same goes for Kyle McCord, and the same goes for Kyron Drones. These guys are not starting because they put the ball in harm's way. And Jordan Love has done an amazing job of maximizing his upside as a deep ball thrower, intermediate thrower. He's clean in everything he does under pressure. And he's also clean in terms of keeping the ball out of harm's way. He's done a phenomenal job at really shoring that part of his game up. This past season, he did excellent with that, right? Every quarterback's going to make mistakes, but Jordan limits those. Aaron Rodgers really limited those. Those were obviously what kept us in games and helped us get so far into the playoffs, is the fact that he never put the ball in harm's way. Jordan's getting better and better each year, and he's entering his prime, right? So, I don't know, guys. Again, I don't really have an answer for you. The answer is probably going to be Desmond Ridder, but things could get interesting if they add another name to the mix, but frankly, I don't know who. Let me know what you guys think about who that might be. God bless the Green Bay Packers, and go Pack Go.